So allow me to introduce Homestar. Who are we? Who are you dealing with today? Who are you hearing from today? First of all, we are all active real estate investors. All of the presenters that you'll hear speak today are at some stage in their life an investor in distressed properties. Some with more or less experience than others. Our founder and chairman of our group, and really the brain trust of the organization, Terry Pacetti, who you'll hear about and hear from in a few minutes, has been in the real estate business all his life. He's 1965, and he is a true master at creative deal making, and you'll hear from him. We're also longtime brokers, longtime real estate brokers and mortgage brokers in the St. Augustine, Florida area, and we're also trainers that are eager to teach what we've learned about the distressed property business. The truth is, investing in distressed property can be a bit distressing. If you don't have the know-how and the skills and the experience, it can be a bear. First of all, the legal process is a bit confusing. You'll hear the word foreclosure bandied around a lot. Everybody's heard of buying foreclosures. You'll hear today how we describe and define what foreclosure is and what a foreclosure isn't. Many people think of foreclosures as something that happens on a courthouse step when a property is sold at public auction. But actually, you'll learn from the Pacettis today that the foreclosure is a process, it's not an event. It's a defined process described in law, and understanding the nuances of that process will help you learn to seize the opportunities and identify the windows of opportunities that are available at different stages in that defined legal process of judicial foreclosure. Also, it's fraught with pitfalls. There are a lot of ways that, a lot of opportunities to lose your financial backside in real estate investing if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not careful about what you're doing. Chuck Pacetti will talk to you today about some of the pitfalls that you need to deal with. You'll hear today something you might not hear from other real estate trainers, and that is our strategies will tell you that the worst place to buy a foreclosure is at the courthouse steps. That's the last resort, the place of last resort, and you'll hear why in the course of our program this morning. And as I mentioned, for the novice, if we don't know what we're doing, investing in properties, the notion that someone that doesn't know much about real estate investing, that may just have a cursory or general understanding of buying and selling, and just go out and buy any old property and do well, can be a bit daunting. It can be a money pit. We've all seen, I'm sure, the movie that Tom Hanks played in a few years ago, The Money Pit. Hilarious movie. A lot of truth in it, and what a nightmare of an investment property. And truly, that's in fact where a lot of investors lose their shirts financially. Is that underestimating the rehab, the fix-up, the holding costs, all of the costs that go in to holding a property for the long term. The good news is that today is the best time ever to take advantage of gushers of opportunity. The changes in our general economy in recent years has opened doors of challenge, but also unprecedented opportunity. Interest rates are at an all-time low, almost a 50-year low, and the time has never been better to buy distressed real estate. But everyone, to be sure, will not see it, and everyone will not seize the opportunities that are available today. As we start this morning, I want to urge us all to think a little bit outside the box. And to do that, I want to ask you to just kind of project yourself into this riddle for a minute, and let's just have a little bit of fun. Two women apply for jobs. They look exactly alike, both women. In their applications, they list identical information: last name, address, phone number, and so forth. They are born to the same parents, same day, same month, same year. Everything about these two women is absolutely identical. And the receptionist takes the application and says, "Oh, you must be twins." And they say, "No." How is that possible? How is that possible? They will take a credit. You see, sometimes the obvious answer is just a bit outside the box. When presented with certain information, when I said the word two women, what was burned in our minds? What was seared in our minds? Two. Twins. Has to be twins, right? Must be twins. What I'd like, I use this little riddle to ask us to think outside the box, to expand our thinking for the next couple of hours, and just let's see where this whole game of investment real estate can take us. I think we'll discover that there's some new dimensions that maybe you haven't thought about, or maybe you didn't even know about, that we can share with you this morning. So remember, things aren't always as they just appear. These scales are two from a set of triplets. We want to talk this morning about a few things, and I'll just breeze through these. One, we want to talk about thinking, how money people think. If any of you have read Robert Kiyosaki's bestsellers, great books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, one of the fundamental stones of his program is to change our thinking, to start thinking like money people with money think. Believe me, they think differently. They think about assets and passive income. Most people in life think about what? The JOB and how much money I can make an hour. So we have to change the way we think. We want to introduce some proven methods of buying and selling real estate safely and profitably. And in that order. Safely and profitably. We want to show you how to remove the risk attendant with distressed property buying. We also want to debunk the myth that you personally need a lot of money to invest. Carlton Sheets with his No Money Down program is a great program. But you know what? We found that you need some money down. The money to buy property has to come from somewhere. It's not necessarily no money down. It's not your money down. It's the use of other people's money. How to leverage money from outside investors to make the deals work. We want to define how important it is to dump debt. The debt is the enemy of wealth, you'll hear Jerry Pacetti say, and to use assets to build a long-term wealth. You'll hear this morning that investment real estate is a long-term proposition. This meeting today is not about a get-rich program. Investment, distressed property investing is a program that if used consistently over time can make you wealthy. But it doesn't happen overnight. Finally, we want to inspire you a bit never to give up on your own goals and dreams in life. You'll also discover this morning how to make serious money investing in distressed but desirable real estate. We'll talk about why all distressed real estate is not necessarily desirable. We'll also talk about the distinct advantages of our Homestar 1010 plan coupled with something called the PDP system. Both those plans, the 1010 plan and the PDP system, tongue in front of my eye tube, were generated and developed by the Pacetti family and used every day to make money in distressed property, and how the use of those programs to buy and sell can make you money. We also want to talk about how you can personally benefit from a comprehensive program of specialized training and education, and how to change the way you think about money and wealth building strategies in general. In essence, we want to talk about the low-hanging fruit of distressed property. By low-hanging fruit, what do we mean? When we use the term distressed property, what are we talking about? A whole laundry list of properties. Distressed FSBOs, for sale by owners, foreclosures, bank repossessions, tax properties for back taxes, properties at government auctions. And that might include real estate and all kinds of other properties that you may have an interest in. probates and estates, cash flow, debt reduction, equity building opportunities. All of the, what we call the underbelly of the real estate market. The low-hanging fruit is waiting to be picked. So in short, we want to offer you this morning and ask you to wrap your minds a little outside the box on a proven system that offers a balanced approach that stresses safety through extraordinary due diligence and ultimately exceptional profits in your pocket. Finally, before I introduce Terry Pacetti, I want to urge you to consider that every harvest in your life begins with a single seed. My father-in-law was a long-term rancher and Florida cattleman and potato and cabbage grower for many years. And he never produced a crop without first planting the seed. And any farmer knows you don't eat your seed. You have to plant the seed to reap the crop. And what we plant and what others plant in us are the powerful seeds of words. I want to ask you to be the fallow ground this morning to absorb that seed that you're going to hear. Let me give you a quick, good there. You're good there, Sean. One more. Thanks. Stop there. I want to give you a quick story. Maybe you've heard it. It's a true story. All of us know of Neil Armstrong. Some of us in this room are old enough to actually remember the late night show on TV when he actually walked on the moon. Or for those conspiratorial theorists that are out there, there are plenty of websites that claim, we never went to the moon. But that's okay. Pretend for a minute we really did, and that Neil Armstrong was the first astronaut to step foot on the lunar surface. We all know the first words that Neil Armstrong spoke when he planted his foot in the soil of the moon. He said, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." That's when the lunar lander set down. But when he put his foot onto the lunar surface, he echoed that famous line that you've heard on TV many times. He said, "That's one small step for man, but what? One giant leap for mankind," right? We'll always remember that. Even folks that were born after the moonwalk will remember it because they've seen it replayed and echoed on television for years. Those were the first words Armstrong spoke, but do you know what the last words that Neil Armstrong spoke when he left the moon? We don't hear much about those. The last words that Armstrong said when he left the moon and stepped off the surface back to the lander was, "Good luck, Mr. Gorski." It wasn't scripted by NASA. And the NASA folks scrambled to find out who in the world was this Gorski and who was Armstrong talking about. Maybe it was a Russian cosmonaut that was a friend of his. He just didn't know. Well, straight from the camera here. Sorry, I'm videoing this and I forgot I can't move around. Good luck, Mr. Gorski. When Armstrong returned to Earth, NASA quizzed him about it and the press quizzed him about it, and he never would tell anything in reference to this Gorski fellow. He never would divulge it. Years went by, and at every press conference, the question would come up. "Mr. Armstrong, who is Mr. Gorski?" Armstrong, almost 30 years after his lunar landing, finally came clean. Apparently, both Mr. Gorski and Mrs. Gorski had passed away. And it somehow freed Armstrong to tell the story without creating embarrassment for the Gorskis. Seems that when Armstrong was 8 years old, he lived next door in his small Ohio town to a family named the Gorskis. And Mr. and Mrs. Gorski were that couple that fought like cats and dogs. Screaming, knockdown, drag-out fights between the couple. One day, as Armstrong was playing baseball, he was 8 years old, in his yard, sandlot ball, somebody hit the ball, and the ball rolled over against the Gorski's house. And Armstrong rushed over to chase the ball, and it rolled up under the Gorski's window. It was a hot summer day, the windows were open, and the Gorskis were going at it, screaming and yelling at each other, cussing to beat the bed. And Armstrong says as he reached down to pick up the ball, he heard Mrs. Gorski say to Mr. Gorski, sex, you want sex? You'll get sex when that little boy next door walks on the moon. I got it. Good luck, Mr. Gorski. So never take lightly the power of words that are sown in your life. It may not be quite as dramatic when I tell you that we're going to show you at the conclusion of the next 2 hours how you can make a lot of money in real estate. Don't take those words lightly. You're hearing it from a family that has done it, is doing it, and can show you how. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce my partner and the father of this plan and father of this program, Terry Pacetti, and introduce him to you. His is a life in the arena. Terry Pacetti is a long-time Florida native, born in St. Johns County, Florida, back in the early 1940s. He's shown here in front of a rural cracker shack in St. Johns County, Florida, when he had no electricity or indoor plumbing. His home site sits today where the World Golf Village is. There, shot. Here's Terry with his 3 brothers, all involved in the real estate business. Combined, the 3 brothers have over 100 years of active experience in the real estate field. Terry in the middle, Roland the oldest, and David the youngest. Terry attended Hastings High School and was a spudster in the 1950s and played both center and linebacker, not because he was that good of an athlete, but because the team had so few players, he had to play both sides of the ball. He graduated there in 1958. And from an early age was a leader. Terry is shown here with Senator Beryl Pope, the Lion of the Florida Senate, presenting him with a leadership award for being a leader in the 4-H of the Future Farmers Club at Hastings High. After a start in sales, Terry quickly found real estate as a career, and at a very early age, his first year in the real estate business, became Associate of the Year in St. Johns County, St. Augustine. He is the second in seniority in the St. Johns County Board of Realtors and a past president of that board of Realtors. A politician at heart, Terry ran for the Florida legislature in 1978 and came very, very close, within 400 votes, in a very tight race with Hamilton Upchurch, a name that you might be familiar with in the St. Augustine area. Terry and Hamilton remained fast friends despite the election, and today Hamilton is one of Terry's real estate investors in this very program. Terry is a licensed auctioneer, mortgage broker, and I think given his brothers, he'd rather be an auctioneer than anything in life. If he starts to auction something off today, guard your wallets. He's a good one. His heart, his mission is to build a legacy in life. That's one reason we introduced this program today, the 10-10 plan and the PDP system. He's in business with all 4 of his children, his son-in-law, and his friend Maurice Sterling. And here is his family, taken a photograph taken a few years ago at the Landmark Ridge Alliance. Without further ado, would you welcome Terry Pacetti.
Thank you, Maurice. I thank you folks for the opportunity to visit with you today. I got started in the real estate business at a very young, early age, and really quite by accident, frankly. But it sure has blessed me and my family. I'm here today with all 4 of my children who are also my business partners, which is part of my blessed life. So we're going to show you some things today, and it hasn't been easy. This has been a 38-year struggle I've been through. I've seen every condition in real estate that you can imagine. When I started the business in 1965 at age 24, the only there was 30,000 people living in St. Johns County. So we've seen tremendous change, and we've seen nothing's happening yet compared to what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I think it's important, and I realize something about us realtors. I think it's important that we take just a little quiz. For us to do anything different than we've done, most of us have to change our mind about how we think about ourselves and our future, and what God really intended for us to have out of this beautiful world that He created. So I believe that it all starts with how we think. If we think correctly, then we can do it. If we don't, then we must change our thinking. A lot of people really need to change their thinking. Over my career, I've trained at least 1,000 real estate agents, and most of those wonderful people are no longer in the real estate industry, and it makes you wonder why. We have worked and developed a program which we'll talk about at some subsequent time to change that. But I believe it's time for us to get healthy, spiritually, physically, psychologically, and financially. I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to use myself as an example as I go through this, because I've been doing this longer than everybody else here, because I've been in business longer than most of y'all are even know. So let me just say that. So back in 1965, when I went to work as a real estate agent, I had been working on the railroad as the East Lanes mechanic. The railroad went on strike, so I woke up one day and didn't have a job. So, my goodness, all of a sudden, how do you feed your family? So I've been going to school at night at the urging of my next door neighbor, who was a 90-some-year-old man, urging me to get into real estate, and took a real estate course. But I hadn't bothered to take the state test. So when the railroad went on strike, I immediately did that and took the test. Excuse me. I got a license, I got started, and I loved it because it was the only job opportunity I've ever had in my life to where I could work all of the hours I wanted to. If I wanted to work Saturday, I could. Sunday, I could. I didn't have to ask anybody if I could work overtime. I could work all the overtime I wanted. And so subsequently, for the first time in my career, I bought the house because I had already sold 2 houses and I bought another house. And I bought it for $15,000. But I want to go back a minute. The one I bought over at the beach, the first one we bought for $8,000, $9,000 is worth $250,000 today. Okay? What does that mean to my net worth? What would it have meant to my net worth had I kept the house? It wasn't a big deal. I wouldn't get a lot of money out of it. What if I kept the house? The one over in Blacka, when I sold it, we didn't get a lot of money out of it, but now it's worth over $100,000. What does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? Then when I came back to St. Augustine, I bought this house for $15,000. Today, and I sold it a couple years later and bought one for $33,000 and thought I was just doing great. But I sold the house, folks. This is the point. I sold the house. Now the house is worth $250,000. I'm just giving you a small little outline of the mistakes that I made that would have added millions of dollars to my net worth had I had a plan, and anybody that would share a plan with me like I'm going to share with you today. Incredible. So anyway, we sold that house. We go over, we buy a $33,000 house, big house, nice house. Then we keep it for a while, and eventually we sold that house for $66,000. Now the same house is on the market for over $300,000. Then we go out and I develop a subdivision and I build a house. And long comes Cheyenne, okay? Baby daughter. We built this house and the subdivision that I developed. Guess what? Wasn't too many years before I did the same thing. I sold the house. Now we were buying and selling real estate the whole time. I'm talking about just the houses that I lived in. Just the ones that I lived in. We have bought and sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses, but I'm only telling you about the ones that we lived in and the mistake that I made about these houses. So we can either be a real estate investment guru or we can be a real estate investment DA. Don't you know what? And that's I qualify for, okay? I'm overqualified for that designation. I don't see anybody wearing that around real proud. Now, when I look at my fellow realtors, and I realize that a majority of them, over 90-some% of the licensees that get licensed, don't make it in the real estate business. The ones that do make it, some of them do very well, but a majority of them don't invest in real estate. They buy a house and they live in it, and they live in it a few years, and then it goes up in value, they sell it, they buy a bigger house, okay? And it's a trend that we do. But very few of them have a game plan like we're talking to you about today, okay? That's what I just wanted to preface all of our remarks about what we want to do. So we're introducing to you today what we call our 10-10 plan. How to buy 10 houses, how to pay for them in 10 years, how to retire with $10,000 month income. And anybody can do it. With that, with money, without money, with credit, without credit, it doesn't make any difference. And that's what we're going to do today. Here's my question for you. If you can see your own future, would you change it? If we could look out in the forecast in 5 years, would we do anything different today than we do today? And most of us, that is a huge question. And when I got a hold of that question, I realized, what if we can get people to analyze where they are and be honest with where they are? Be honest with where they are and realize that the change that has to come, number one change, has to be right here. You leave this building today and you go left down 95. You're not going to Georgia. Okay? If you think you're going to Georgia, you turn left and you go out of here. So we make decisions every day. Every day we make decisions. So ultimately, we wrote this book, Where Are You Now? And that's the reason that we wrote it. And I want to make sure that I'm going to give this book to you today, and I'm going to read it. And I'll make sure you read it because the book's a lot to do about our life. But I want to make sure that first of all, you analyze where you are. Where are you? Okay? It's not my business, it's your business. Where are you? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? And what are you going to do? And what kind of vehicle do you have? What kind of training do you have? What kind of education do you have for you to reasonably attain those goals and those dreams? It's a dream, you see. To me, it was all a dream. I just had a big dream. I didn't even know what the dream was. But my dream changed over the years as opportunities came my way. My dream changed. Today, there's so much knowledge and availability for about real estate and rent. So you can do it today a lot easier than we did it over the years. But I want you to read the book. Where are you now? If you find your why, you'll find your way. If you'll just do that, you'll find your way. In other words, what is the driving force? I had a little nephew drop by my office last week and visited with me. Hadn't seen him in a while. Moved up to Charlotte, North Carolina. And he did that. He kept on going to school. He worked in a restaurant at night, and he kept on going to school. He got in a band and learned how to play music, and he kept on going to school. And he dropped by my office. And I was so glad to see him. He got married a couple years ago, and his little wife was with him. And this girl has gotten a master's degree, and this kid's working in restaurants and doing whatever. Nobody helped them financially. They did it themselves. So he found his why. Now he's about to graduate from college, and she's about to graduate with a master's degree. And they're still living. He said it's so nice just to have a little bit of money out there. He said we have done this for so many years, but they have about achieved their goal. So it's possible. See, possibility thinking, and excuse me. Find your why in life. My why has been my 4 children. My new why is all my grandchildren. That's my why. When I look at my little babies and I see them, I thank God for these babies, you see, and this opportunity for granddaddy to be a positive influence in their life, to share something with them that hopefully will be a blessing in their life. That is my why. Somebody asked me, why don't you quit? Why don't you retire? Why don't you quit all this? I'm just getting started. You know, at age 63, and just getting started. I'm just catching my second wind and we're ready to go. And so I'm not about to quit. You know, the question about where are you now, you really need in the book, there's an outline that you need to sit down and write down your debits and your credits, the things that you owe, the things that you owe, and look at your true net worth. Don't fudge on it because it's just yourself that you're talking to, and find out exactly where you are. You see? And if you're not doing, if it's not what you would like for it to be, then I want you to go have a talk with yourself about it. Get your chair, go down by the beach, sit down there and talk about it, okay? Have a real talk. If you're married, you want to have a talk with your wife or your family, do that. But make sure that you address these things because this is the beginning of changing how we think. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Okay? We can all say I want to be rich. What does that mean? I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want to have a lot of money. What does that mean? You want to have a lot of cash? What is it we want to do with the money? You see what we found out? People won't do things just for the money. Most people are not motivated just for the money. They don't plan to swim in it like a street neck duck. They don't plan to do that. They plan security for their family. They want to be able to send their kids to better colleges. What does it mean to you see? And once we get that, then we start to address the how to. We're going to get there. How will you get there? That's a big question. We hope after today, and I congratulate you and thank you so much for coming, that you will adapt some of our techniques, and that you'll want to team up with us in some form or fashion, maybe, and move forward to a bigger and better life in the real estate industry. I've already told you, we're real estate brokers, we're real estate investors. I'm a licensed auctioneer, real estate auctioneer, and we also are mortgage brokers. And of course, now we do this. We've written books, and we're authors and lecturers and mentors and real estate developers. We developed a subdivision. We got one we just started, finally got it permitted under construction right now. So sometime if you want to come down to our area, and then just give us a call. We'll take you on a tour and show you exactly what we're involved with, the things that we're doing and how it works for us. And we make plain mistakes, believe me. And what this process will teach you is how to minimize your mistakes. It won't teach you not to ever make it. It's going to teach you how to minimize them. And if you have a problem, how to do it. How reliable is your ride? What investment vehicle have you chosen to take you where you want to go? Now, I hear people back in the stock market. I see them in there. The stock market's doing good, no bad. But about 6 or 8 months ago, a year ago, 2, I watched a lot of my friends take it real bad in the stock market. And what little we had in the stock market took me back. Okay? When I was looking at the little IRA that we get $2,000 a piece in the IRA 4 or 5 years ago. It's down now to about half. Okay? And it came back up $10-15. If I had taken that same money and invested in real estate, okay, we'd have made a lot more money with it. So we don't want to do anything more of that. Investing safely in properties will create incredible way of wealth, increase your cash flow. Those are the 2 buzzwords in this. We want you to increase your cash flow, simultaneously increase your net worth. And that's what this business will do for you. It'll do it for you in small proportion, it'll do it for you in large proportion. The more experience you get, the easier it becomes for you to be able to do that. So we want for you to see investing safely. What you're going to learn today is how to do it safely. You're going to get the overview of a safe operation. We're long-time realtors, but they don't see the forest for the trees. Don't make the same mistake we did. How many of you guys are realtors? Okay. I encourage everybody to go get a real estate license. Some of my investor friends will say, oh, get a real estate license, you got to disclose. We disclose everything. We disclose everything. There is no gray matter area. Nothing. We don't want that. You see? We don't want that reputation. We don't want that, period. So we're going to buy our property, we disclose it over and over and over and over, and make sure that the owner knows that we're buying it for ourselves, we're buying it to make money with. There is no doubt about it, okay? And if there's any question about it, then we encourage them to go to their attorney and get things done right. So it doesn't come home to hunt. We don't want to do that. Boy, we spent years walking past the level. I wish somebody would have told me, Terry, Pacetti, when you were 24 years old, you buy this house, you do not sell it and make $1,000. It wasn't an investment house, at no point. It was a living house. Today, the payments were less than $100 a month, taxes and insurance. Today, using a 30-year loan, and I know you young guys don't think you'll ever get to overseas because don't feel them out there, but listen, using a 30-year loan on this house and have not ever paid one extra dime on his mortgage to me, they'd all be paid for today. They would all be paid for because 30 years has passed me right on by. You see, the houses would have been paid. I would have had a house over there bringing $1,200 a month. The payments were only $100. That would have gone up some because tax and insurance would have gone up some. But basically, if you see that, it would increase my cash flow tremendously and would have created incredible equity if I hadn't sold the house. You see, we teach buy some, sell some, buy some, keep some. And that's what we want to do. You have to determine which ones you want to keep. Buy some, sell some, buy some, keep some. We have created millions of dollars in equities. When we started to really do this program in earnest, we didn't have anywhere near the kind of money to go out and buy a lot of properties. So we developed this system, which we're going to show you more about. With this system, in our discussion with friends of mine, we were able to attract a lot of investment capital, a lot. On a deal-by-deal basis, we don't take their money and pull it all up together. It's not that. When they invest with us, they invest in a particular house, and that's the way we do it. And the investors love it. But we found that we had the money. We could get the money to buy the deals, and the deals were good. And solid, and we could present them in that kind of a form. It's a very conservative business. It meets the most basic human needs: shelter. Most people buy houses to live in. Some of the people we know will buy them for investments, but most of the people that we know will buy them because they need a place to live. Our market has been red hot. I'm telling you, it is fireball hot down in the areas in St. Johns County, in here too, up there too. And like, you're in the middle of a huge marketing opportunity. Wonderful. And what we're going to show you is there's plenty of deals. There are plenty of opportunities. And that's what we have set ourselves apart. We're different from everybody else, and that's okay with us. We want to be, because we want to make sure we do it right. You can make money in large sums, which can quickly catapult you to a better economic position. I want to tell you about saving a property, okay? About 14 years ago, I put together an investment group to buy a piece of property down on State Road 207 in St. Augustine. It was 60 odd acres, and I had bought some more property from this company, and then we bought the property. I went out and put together an investment group. I kept 10% of that. And we refer that today as equity sharing. And I want to just plant that seed with you today, because we're going to have a course on equity sharing. Equity sharing. I kept 10%. I sold 90% to a group of different partners. We've held that property all these years, about 14 years. The investment group paid $280,000. We have it in contract today for $2.5 million. I didn't pay one dime in 10% position that I kept in the property. But sometime this year, it closes, it was going to write me out a great big nice check. Okay? Now, if you'll start thinking that way about this business, now that wouldn't have happened overnight. That's happened over 14 years, you understand? Now, if I had to make the decision today, I wouldn't sell it today. But my group, some of them are older than me, so they want to sell it. But frankly, can you imagine that if you just had kept something, just a part of something, if I had kept part of these houses, if I had kept an interest in these houses, I put them in some kind of a trust, some kind of an entity, and just kept a little bit, a little small share, and watching houses go off the Richter scale and going up. It's amazing what that would have done. So, or you can do it quick. Offers you a self-directed retirement plan. Had I put together, had I been smart, okay? I passed the EA, I don't pass the EA test. Had I been really smart, I put one of those deals together every year, or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 every year. Kept a little position in that property. You see, this business can make you rich, and it is not dependent on how much cash you have available. If you have money to work with, it's easier, but it's not necessarily dependent on that. Affords significant tax reduction benefits. All 4 of my children are here, family, are all individual investors. Each one of them has bought property. Cheyenne, at her young age of 26, she owns a house that she bought on the marsh. Nice house. She bought it for $48,000. It was in bad shape. She borrowed $75,000, fixed it up. She didn't have a penny in the house. The house appraised for $120,000. Now, 3 or 4 years later, the house appraises for $220,000. She uses part of the equity that she didn't have to pay a dime for, and this is what I want you to get. She didn't pay a dime for it. She took the money out tax-free, and now she owns 3 nice houses that's in her 10-10 plan. She is 3 into her 10-10 plan, and she has a sister in the room that's got 19, and another sister that has 5, and her brother's got 12 or 13 properties. And they are building their own retirement, and so this is not some hogwash that we came here to teach and preach about. We are doing this ourselves. Every day that we get up, we are buying and selling, and every once in a while we're trying that ideal property to keep that we believe is going to escalate value, and it's going to be a good rental property, and we put it in the bank. Buy rental property, real estate, and buy long-term residential cash flow. I talked to a lady yesterday. She sounded like me. I told her, I said, oh, stop, I need to can that phrase. You sound just like me. I said, why don't you buy some rental property? Oh, I hate tenants. I said, that's probably cost me $10 million. For me to make that statement that I hate tenants and I don't want to mess with tenants and I don't want to manage properties, that has probably cost me 10, maybe 50, no telling how much money that's cost me to make that dumb statement, okay? So, my point to you is, don't make that statement. If you don't want to manage rental properties, you buy them right, you take them down there to some management company and you turn it over to them and let them manage it, but don't cheat yourself out of the equity in the position of those properties because you have an attitude about rentals. Second thing she said was, I don't have the money. I said, not a problem. Okay? I don't have the money. In fact, I don't really have real good credit. Overcome all three of her objections in about 5 minutes. I said, all you need to do is add the attitude. It's not the tenants or the money, it's your thinking. Now, if you'll change your thinking, you can do this just like we did. Offers unlimited income potential. Real estate doesn't limit how much you can make on a job that pays hourly wages. Thank God for what it's done for me and my family. Thank the good Lord. Well, now I'm thinking we get away from that 40-hour week job, JOB, which has held everybody back. And we use it now instead of JOB, jump on board. Okay? Jump on board. Get busy with your life and let's see what we can help you accomplish with yours. And some of y'all can probably teach us a lot and we're willing to learn. But just say we're great students. Now, we're going to see economic changes. Back years ago, some of you may be familiar with this property. There's a property down in St. Augustine on the ocean called the Ocean House Condominium. I was developing a subdivision and selling lots and taking back mortgages, contracts for deed. I was selling lots, going like crazy. And guy comes to me, he's really sick. And he had built the Ocean House Condominium project. And he said, I'm sick. You know, he had surgeons said, I would sell this whole project, 63 oceanfront units. And I said, hey, well, you're not talking to me, are you? I can't afford to do that kind of thing. He said, oh yeah. He said, I'm going to sell you the stock in this corporation, and it's got a mortgage on it, but I'm going to sell it to you and have great equity and give you $200,000 worth of those mortgages, and I'll give you all the stock in this corporation. I said, I would take that, okay? No personal liability, didn't have to sign the note. I said, I'll take it. So my wife and I moved in there, and we worked for a year, and that was the same time President Carter and group created us the gas crisis, and the people that normally buy Crescent Beach condos living in Gainesville and all, they're afraid we wouldn't be able to get enough gas to drive back to use the condominiums if they bought them. So I could not sell those units, and me working 7 days a week, I couldn't sell those units. We sold a few, but ultimately I ended up having to give them back to the bank. But it brings us to this point about the economy. You see, the point was, had I been astute about putting together a partnership and saving that village, payments weren't a lot of money compared to what the value was. Had I done that, where in the world would that, you just come right in. What in the world would that have done for me today? Okay? I could have put a group together and saved that kind of money. Today, those same units that we were trying to sell on the ocean for $50,000 are selling for $400,000. The ocean profits were not on the ocean. And they sell as fast as you can get one. That's how the market. So when the economy's soft, we want to buy it. See, the strategy is we want to buy it. You make your money when you buy it. It's real estate. You make your money without having to hold it at all. You make your money when you buy it. Okay? The benefit is you immediately increase your net worth. Okay? If we buy a $100,000 property for $50,000, guess what happens? Our net worth just went up $50,000. Now, if we buy that $100,000 house and our payments are $300 a month, and we get $1,000 a month rent from it, and from that we deduct all of the deducts, the management and the taxes and the insurance and the maintenance and all those things that you have to do, and you end up with $300 a month cash flow. What's wrong with that? You see, do 10 of those and guess what happens? Your cash flow changes, your net worth changes, everything changes. And that's the power of the system. Now, the economy's strong. If you want to sell, sell it. If you don't want to keep it, don't sell it. But then the benefit is you collect your money, and which means that your cash flow from selling it increases. So if you develop a strategy in this business that goes like this, I'm going to buy some of these houses, and I'm going to sell some of them, but I'm going to keep some of them, and I'm going to think what Pacetti said down the road. He was a young man, age 24, whenever he started buying houses to live in, didn't have any idea that one day he'd be standing at a podium in riverfront in Jacksonville, Florida, and telling people what a DA he was for not keeping those houses and how rich he would be today from just that thing. They were selling good concrete block houses all over St. Augustine for $8,000. They were selling with $50 down, and Fairchild had closed up the aircraft plant and laid a bunch of people off. There were a lot of foreclosures. You could buy a house for $50 down. The payments, including the taxes and insurance, under now these same houses are $150,000 in the worst areas. Okay, so I don't want you to duplicate my mistakes. I want you to learn from the things that we made, where we made our biggest mistakes, was not keeping enough of the properties. We've had them when we had no money in them. We've had properties that we bought 2 properties together, sold one, the other was free and clear. We didn't have to sell it, you see, except we did it for cash flow. To me, it was a commodity. Sell it. Give me the money. Show me the money. That's what I would do. Today's distressed property marketplace is filled with opportunity to make lots of money and tricky pitfalls that can cost you your financial backside. Do not buy an octagon house. If anybody ever offers you an octagon house, please run as fast as you can run. We went to Daytona and we found an octagon house in foreclosure, and we bought it. Boy, the upside of that looked like we were going to make $100,000 profit. We certainly were going to make a lot of money. We had an investor that didn't want to rent it out. We could not sell it. We did auctions, we did open houses, we did everything in the world to sell that house. The CMA showed that we were going to make a lot of money. By the time we got through with the house, it was a beautiful house, but it was just, I mean, you can tell you, it would have been a great gift shop or something, two-story, just beautiful. But nobody wanted to buy the house. They could come in and add an interior decorator or somewhere in the house. I said, why don't you buy it then? If you like it, buy it. We'll give you a bargain. Anyway, we lost $50,000 on the house. We didn't make $100,000, we lost $50,000. So you can lose your backside in this business, and you have to learn how to do this right. Don't take chances. Don't get out of the box as far as whatever you decide is your investment strategy when it comes down to the type of house, the structure, and so forth. It'll serve you well. And the minute we started doing everything, and anyway, most get-rich systems, so late night TV, infomercials only cost you money, don't work. You know, thank God for it. Some people are needing help by it. I'm all for it. If you're helped by it, do it. I follow myself. I have. And every time I get a chance to learn something else, I do it. And that's what I do. Are you ready to learn about methods that will bring you more good properties to list or buy than you could ever want? We have a system that's incredible. We have a research system that's unbelievable. And the perfect marriage, the 10-10 plan and the PDP system. The 10-10 plan powered by Pacetti's exclusive PDP system is perfect combo for successful real estate investment. PDP means pre-foreclosure, during foreclosure, and post-foreclosure. You want to get that house as fast as you can. We realtors have a multiple opportunity here. When we go out and we look at that house, it's not something that we want to buy. Now, we're wearing different hats, okay? Our realtor hat says, go out and list that house. List it as high as you can possibly list it based on your market research and sell that house. List it and sell it, all right? You get out there, that guy says, listen, my wife and I got divorced. I'm not making another payment on this house. I don't want to list it. I don't want to sell it. I wouldn't give her one dime out of this, no matter how much I lose. We hear this all the time. And guess what? They want to sell it. I got one right now that called me. He's got a mobile home in Augustine, nice piece of property, about $50,000 worth, about 80, and they're going to deed it over to me tomorrow, subject to the mortgage. Okay? I can get out of the property for them. We get this all the time, and your reputation, you're building your reputation as you do this business, and you're going to do a lot of referral business. But we took the 10-10 plan, powered by the PDP system. The 10-10 plan powered by the PDP system. In other words, we're going to teach you, we're going to offer you, Maurice is going to go through some things with you today about our PDP system. Pre-foreclosure, what does that mean? During foreclosure, what does that mean? And post-foreclosure, what does that mean? What does it mean to an investor, and what does it mean to a realtor? Let me tell you what it is. Pre-foreclosure, there is no list that you can buy of delinquent mortgage payments. In other words, mortgage companies are not allowed to share that kind of information. So if you talk to me, you don't know if I'm delinquent with my mortgage or not, unless I tell you. All right? Now, that's pre-foreclosure. So we have to advertise for that. You've got it all in your little newspapers. Classified ads are full of, I'll buy your house, cash for you, I'll buy your house, all right? Now, then if you aren't doing that, do it. You will buy some deals out of that. Do it. It's cheapest money you can possibly spend is have somebody call you and say, I want to sell you my house or give you my house. Right? So if you're not doing that, do it. Okay? It's simple. There's nothing to it, just do it. Now, so we're going to share some ideas. And I see y'all making notes. I realize that we've made a suggestion to you. Just do it. Okay? If you don't have the money to do it, you'll find somebody to put up the money with you. Share some of the profit with them. Get your ad in the newspaper and just do it. And you'll be thankful that you did. So that's the pre-foreclosure. The during foreclosure, that means the foreclosure is filed. My daughters and our company research every foreclosure in Duval County, Clay County, St. Johns County, Putnam County, Flagler County. We're selling the leads in Duval County. If you guys are in Duval County and Clay County, if you don't subscribe to this, you're not serious about this business. Let me tell you why. There's 70 to 100 brand new cases filed in Jacksonville every week. You know what that means? That means 70 to 100 new prospects every week of people that have got to make a decision about what to do about their real estate. They got to make a decision. Now, what decision do you want them to make? You want them to make the best decision for themselves, because there's going to be plenty of people that just don't care. We help a lot of people save their homes, believe me, they do. But when we go out there and we're wearing we've got our buyer hat on, and we tell the people, listen, we're realtors. We can do the two things for you. We can retail it, put the house on the market for you, and retail it for you, or we can buy the house wholesale if you want to wholesale it. We're buyers. So you disclose everything, okay? And you tell the truth about everything. And you stay out of gray areas with everything. So now you have told the buyers, the sellers, that you can do a lot of things for them. In our case, we're mortgage brokers. We can do that for them. You know, we can help them a lot. Now, but most of them that call you are sick of the property and ready to move on. Now, Homestar's equity sharing and personal investment planning components are based on our unique 10-10 plan powered by our exclusive PDP system. As realtors, we offer a three-dimensional program. We have come up with an amazing program, which I'm not going to spend any time on today, but I do want to meet with your realtors and some subsequent time and show it to you. We have a three-part program. Part of it is equity sharing, the opportunity for real estate agents that work with us, that maybe they don't have the credit, maybe they don't have the money, and they don't see this for themselves at all. And being able to equity share with us. We tell them, bring us the deal. Find the house, bring it in here. If we buy it, now you can share in the equity. That's how you get started with no money. That's how you get started with no credit. That's the way everybody can do this business if they'll plug into our system. See, the 10-10 plan teaches you what to do. Okay, we want you to buy 10 houses and pay for them in 10 years and retire with a $10,000 monthly income. I want to do that for every one of my grandchildren. Okay? Why do we want to do that? I use this analogy. George Bush is the president, Al Gore is almost the president. Why are those guys, why did that happen? Why does that happen time after time? Here's what it is. You've got a bunch of qualified guys out there running for president right now. But why is this? Why does one person believe they can be president and the other one just doesn't believe it? And God made us all equal. What is that all about? It's all about how we think. Seeds that were planted with us when we were young. So, the PDP system, I'll teach you how to do it. Now, with the 10-10 plan, you'll do this for your future generations. You will be able to supply the money, not to make kids spoiled, but to send them to the best colleges and give them the best opportunity. That's what those parents have done to those kids, and that's why they were presidents and all that stuff. What to do, the strategies. You got to come up with a plan. We make a plan, 10-10 plan. How about 10 houses? Okay, where do we start? First of all, we got to tap into a source of information. This was one, okay? Our leads is two, right? And the leads that you get. Also, we have the sales leads. When that happens, you know they're going back to the bank, right? If somebody don't buy them on the courthouse steps. So that's your REO properties. It's a trigger. It's information. You'll know about every house that's going back to any lender in your town. Every one, not one once in a while, and that's the thing that I want to make sure you understand. It's not once in a while, it is every day, every house, every time. Every time. If that owner doesn't refinance it, sell it or something, and pull it out of the foreclosure process, it is going to step sale. If it goes to the step sale, you already know who's getting it back. You already know, okay? That's how powerful information is. How to do it methods. We want to help you develop a strategy that within the next year or 2 years, based on your own personal commitment to it, that you can have these houses bought. And then we start to develop a strategy to get them paid for. First of all, we have to develop a strategy to buy them, then we have to work on a strategy to pay for them. Here's what real estate people do. I've done it all my life. To my chagrin, okay? Absolute DA, that's, I've always been DA, that's for sure. Now what do we... Now, so we're going to help you develop a technique and a strategy that will allow you to be successful. If you develop the know-how and you develop the strategy, you can get results in this business, no question about it. And that's what we want to help you do. So you just think about it. You had 10 houses, and you can get them paid for in 10 years, and you can retire with a $10,000 a month income, is that just a little bit better than Social Security? I mean, isn't that just a tad better? And when you take these houses and these properties, and you can borrow against the equity to make other investments tax-free, what's wrong with that? I mean, that's using the best use of the system that I can think of. And then years from now, you can put those properties in a trust. You can leave them to your children, your grandchildren, or whoever you so desire when you're no longer here. And you can provide an income flow, a structure that hopefully will not only just say, oh, you left me a lot of money. That's not the goal. The goal is to leave them a structure and an opportunity for them to rise above their wildest expectations. And that's how simple this really is. Just think, you own the house, who in here has owned the house more than 30 years ago? Who bought a house here 30 years ago? Okay. 20 years ago. 10 years ago. Okay. 5 years ago. Now, you still own those houses? Is anybody in here that bought them a long time ago still own them? You sold them, right? Okay. After everybody sold them, you all sold them? Okay. Now, this is have a question for you. The day you bought the house, you determined what it was worth. By appraisal or your own research or whatever. You determined. What is it worth today? What kind of return has it given you if you kept that house? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's all relevant. See? Every house that you would have bought and kept 30 years ago, today would be paid for based on a 30-year loan. The cash flow from that would handsomely pay for your retirement and the future of your children and your grandchildren. And this is the greatest seed that I know you can plant. I have taught so many people and to get real estate license to go into business. But what I should have been teaching was the 10-10 plan. If I had known how to teach them, would have taught them the 10-10 plan, how to get rich in the business, not just little thumbnail approach to it. Let me do this, something, sell something, make a commission, and keep them starving to death. How to really make money in the business. There's nothing wrong with making commissions, we love it, but how to make money in the business. And that's what we are after. So, here's what we do. We back in houses, pay for them in 10 years, and retire with a $10,000 a month income. Now, maybe you want 20 houses, 30 houses, maybe you only want 2. Okay? Maybe you say, I just want a couple of houses paid for when I retire, supplement my Social Security. And I make $35,000 a year now. If I can have that much income, I won't have taken a loss. Here's what happens to people, which is tragic, and it's happening all over every day. People start off in life at about 20 years old and work up to about 40 years old. The income goes up, usually about 40. Then it plateaus off until about 65, and all of a sudden it drops down, and we're going to retire and live on less money than we could barely live on while we were working full speed ahead. Now, folks, that is not a good financial plan. That is a pitiful financial plan, and that's where most of America is today. 90% of the people today, if they couldn't work for 6 months or anything happened to their income for 6 months, would be bankrupt. Okay? We see it everywhere. Now, so we have our 10-10 plan. We love this 10-10 plan because now we truly can teach anybody how to develop a financial plan that really works for them. What about 10 houses? How quick can you buy 10 houses? 10 keepers. Now, not just 10 houses, 10 keepers. You want to segregate. This is a keeper. I'm going to keep this house. And my family here can talk to you for hours about which ones to keep and which ones not to keep. Keep your better houses. Okay? Keep your better houses. They create a better cash flow, but also depends on your position in the house. Where do you stand? Is there some kind of a good mortgage on it, or is the mortgage too high? Is that something that you want to keep? If you keep it, are you going to have to refinance it to get the mortgage down? I mean, there's all kinds of questions. Each one of them bought a condominium at Sebastian Harbor down in St. Augustine about 5 years ago. Bought it for $50,000 a piece with $5,000 down on their finance. Those same condos today, they still own them are worth $200,000. $200,000, and they paid $50,000 with $5,000 down with owner financing. Don't qualify, right? So what does that mean? Every time. Now, if we're going to plan for the future, we can't depend on dealing in hindsight. The only thing the past can possibly do for us today is teach us not to make the same mistakes in the future. Now, if we can learn from that, it's been worthwhile. If not, then we'll continue going on. Now, we want to earn $10,000 a month. Folks, with $10,000 a month coming into your mailbox, you don't have to mess with that tenant. You don't have to let the tenant call you. You don't even have to let the tenant know you own the house. Put it in a trust, they won't know who owns it. and let some service company that specializes in this, is good at it, service those houses for you. You can go anywhere in the country and all over the world, and if somebody was putting $10,000 a month in your checking account, okay, every month, guess what? You can do anything you want to. You are free as a bird to come and go as you please for the rest of your life. Now, if you don't think that will work, come down here and let me go to Beach Street on San Augustine Beach and show you that house I bought for $8,500 is worth $250. And when I'm black, and all these houses that we bought that we lived in, notwithstanding all the ones that we developed and built, and I mean, it's just incredible the things that we have done over the years. Powerful blueprint to achieve total financial security. That's what we're after. We're not saying to you don't buy and sell. We are telling you to buy and sell. Use part of the profits that you get plus the positive cash flow that you get to power down that debt and get these properties out of debt, and then you will reap the rewards of that constant, consistent cash flow. You will love the results of this. Now, expresses a balanced investing approach. Buy some, keep some. That's what we're saying. Buy some, keep some. Buy some, sell some. Okay? Which ones you want to keep? Ones with a positive cash flow. Okay? Some of these ones that you buy that don't have a positive cash flow, and nothing in sight for that, you want to get rid of. Don't sell them, get rid of them, get the money, move on. Fully potent when powered by the Homestar PDP system. We're going to offer you today the opportunity to take our course, which for years we wouldn't teach anybody else about it, frankly. How to find and buy these properties on a consistent basis, how to understand this process so that you can use it for your benefit and your family's benefit. That's part of what we are and who we are. Provides a solid and simple blueprint to reaching your financial goals. That's simple. We're going to buy 10 houses. We're going to talk a lot about it in the 10-10 plan training. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to buy 10 houses. All right, number one, which ones we should keep and how we power down the debt. Here's the fifth point. Suppose you go out and buy a house, you got a 30-year loan. Okay, you're going to have to pay on 30 years unless you pay some additional payments on that, so you reduce that debt. But if you bought the same house down the street with a 20-year loan, guess what? Now you just took 10 years. You increased your retirement potential by 10 years. So how we buy it, how we use this up here, and how we buy it, how we select it, and how we pay for it is critical to the process of getting your early retirement. Provides the basic concept of modern creative real estate investment. We're talking about things that most people don't even know. But we're also telling you about a plan. All this is great. I know how to buy houses, I know how to sell them. I heard Jerry Pacetti can do it, but he was dumb. He didn't save enough of the houses back 30 years ago. Today he would have been a billionaire. I'm talking about probably $100 million person today that I had any training and any teaching and any concept. And that's what you can walk out of here with, is the opportunity to do that. Just like, come on those big buildings. Who built them? A human being. Planned them, built them. Human beings did all this. Not some ghost. God didn't create those buildings over there. Those buildings were built by human beings. When you ride up and down these streets and these subdivisions, and you see all these houses and all the development going on, somebody's doing it. Are they smarter than us? Yes, they are about their specific specialty. Is it something that we can't learn to do? I mean, what does this business allow us to do? Anything we want to. Anytime we want to. That's it. That's how powerful it is. Tell us about the steps to follow to locate, negotiate, and acquire favorable properties. When you go through our PDP system, you're going to see the training that's necessary for you to go out and make $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 on a house. Not one time, but over and over and over. And you're going to learn the pitfalls, not things to avoid. You're going to learn the things to do and things not to do. Things not to do just as important as the other. Describes the winning concept of how to leverage small equities and modest positive cash flows in very long-term profits. Let me tell you, we take this paper, the powerful paper we talked about, okay? So if you get that paper, you read that paper, and you go through that paper in the areas that you want to be in, and you read down in that newspaper, and you find it yourself, I learned. And you call that person, and you say, well, I don't have any money, okay? You call that person, and you say, listen, I see you have your house leased. Before I come look at it, let me just ask you this. Would you consider leasing it to me with an option to buy it? You can buy houses all kind of ways. This is part of what we teach. You do not have to have a lot of money to do this business, and you can do it consistently. Contrast good debt, bad debt. Folks, the one thing that all of us have to learn is the difference between good debt and bad debt. There is good debt and there is bad debt. If you have credit card debts and bills and things that are preventing you from doing the things that you want to do, you must get out of debt. You must get out of debt. That has to become your first goal, is to get out of debt. Take the money, get out of debt. Now, if you are using leverage, real estate leverage, to buy more real estate with, that's good debt. The bad debt is the thing that we go out and buy a car and we get about $600, $700, $800 month car payment when we should have invested that money in our real estate or in buying more real estate. That is bad debt. Okay? So delayed gratification, most of us won't practice it, but it's as real can possibly be. If you will develop that conscious awareness to delay the gratification, just put it off for a little while until you get this done, until you get this plan done, and then you work diligently to do this. You'll see your finances will change dramatically. All of a sudden, you got these $200,000 condos and you only owe 40 on them now after 5-6 years. What is the bank going to do if you want to borrow money against them, lines of credit, all the things that's possible to buy more property? What's the bank going to do? They're going to be chasing you down because they realize that you weren't just another investor that lived up to the last dime that you could possibly make on a property. You were doing this and you had a plan. And you will find the money comes easier and easier and easier as you go. Proven strategies and methods to harvest a low-hanging fruit from the stress real estate money tree. The PEV system is great. Pre-foreclosure. Real estate brokers. Pull it up every day. Hit a market in your area. You got it right at your fingertips. The power of the system in the real estate is incredible. When I started, there was no MLS system. We started it about the same time I started real estate. Now that system is so powerful, if you want to have houses in a certain geographic area, it'll give it to you. If you want houses, every house in Duval County below $50,000, it'll spit you out a list, okay? It'll prospect for you every day. Now, zero in and learn how to use that to your benefit. That's part of what we teach. During foreclosure, that means a lawsuit has been filed. There is a court record about that property that has been filed. Now, if you don't know the system, this is where a lot of people get in trouble. I had a friend call me a while back. Oh, my son just went down to the courthouse and bought a $90,000, paid $90,000 for condos worth $200,000. I said, did you check that title? She said, no. I said, I've been watching that foreclosure in my lease, and I believe he bought a second. I believe there's a first mortgage on that. And she said, it didn't wipe it out. I said, oh, Lord, no, second mortgage don't wipe out a first. People had bought this property subject to the first mortgage when he went down and did it. He had paid more than it was worth. What he did was he didn't even go back to the courthouse to fix it. He just lost his property. He just walked away from it. But he came that close by being overzealous and undereducated about this property to losing about $100,000. He came that close to do it because he went down and popped down and catch. Post-foreclosure. REOs. That's what this is. It's REO. It's property that's going back to the REO companies. It is gone. Okay? Within 10 days after the courthouse set sale, and then the property's going back to the banks. It's gone. Now, during that 10 days period, there is no right of redemption. Some people will tell you there is none. There is none. Okay? Now, there's a 10-day period when you can file some actions, if the sale wouldn't handle property. That's all that is. But believe me, that's not the way it works. It's a unique three-part program. Think about it. Pre-foreclosure. We're going to work on pre-foreclosure. We're going to get all the properties we can find. But we're going to use every prospecting method available to us. We're not just going to use one, like most real estate investors do. We're not just going to use the courthouse. I'm not going to go around and dig around in courthouse files and spend hours and hours and hours of my time, wasting my time. I'm not going to do that, okay? I've got these girls provide a service that's so valuable that if you're not plugged into it, don't leave here today without doing it. If you're serious about this business. If you're serious about making money in it, that information that they give you is powerful. Outline specific strategies to acquire a portfolio of choice investment in income properties. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to have a strategy. We're going to invest and buy properties. And we're going to show you in a few minutes how to analyze these to make sure that you buy the right properties and don't make the wrong mistakes. Increases potential to maximize your profits. If you have the intelligence, the information from our court reports, and you have this stuff before your eyes where you can see what's going on, and you can make a decision about what this property is worth, you will know quick. We're going to show you in a minute how to grade your leads, how to see what this really means to you. Powered by Homestar's market tracking system. The girls have got a tracking system that we track these foreclosures. And that is why this intelligence is so powerful, and we call it our court reports. Okay? These my daughters, more about the courthouse, I believe, as far as it relates to just anybody in the United States. They can do this anywhere. They went down to the Keys a few years ago. We decided to just see how this worked in the Keys. They went to the Keys in a few days, came back, and made a foreclosure book in the Keys. We sent out foreclosure letters in the Keys. People were calling us from all over the world to sell us property in the Keys. Now, what is that all about? That means that you have discovered a system that works, that will provide you with intelligence, information that works. How to grade leads generated by the Homestar tracking system. How to conduct a market analysis to determine the actual market value. Your realtors, what a benefit being a realtor is. What being plugged into the MLS system, what a benefit. How to estimate fixed-up costs and manage contract rehab projects. This is the killer. This is where I have personally no expertise. Thank God I have a son-in-law that does. And every house that we buy, he goes and punches that house out and makes us a list of all the repairs. Costs it out. Before we buy a new house, before we close on the house, you see, it's too late after we close on the house. And we still make mistakes because there's some things you can't see in the walls and all that you can't see. But he does a great job. How to calculate the ROI and use these powerful tools to generate more profits. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. It's just as important, you see. Do I buy it or don't I buy it? Do I buy it on an acquisition, rehab, resale plan, okay? Or do I buy it to keep it? Or in this case, I don't want to own it, I'll just lease it with an option to buy it. I mean, what is my strategy that I'm going to develop by having this powerful information? How to find and attract hard money investors to fund your deals. That is a powerful one, okay? They are everywhere. If you have the desire and the opportunity to find something to buy and you don't have the money, there are plenty of mortgage brokers around here that do hard money loans, okay? But believe me, while people have their money in the banks getting such low interest rates today, you can attract lenders, and that's part of what we teach you to do. If you don't want to do it as a borrower, which I discourage you from doing if you don't have the financial resources to make the payments on borrowing money, don't borrow it. Team up with a third-party investor that has the money, that will make the payments and do the things that make you safe, and make them safe and you safe. So that they're going to invest their money with you and know exactly, we teach you how to do that. That's a strategy that will set you free, that will make you wealthy. It doesn't matter whether you have any money. It doesn't matter if you have any credit. It doesn't matter. All right, now here's how we grade the leads. After you get the leads, we take an initial study of the lead sheet. From that, we determine that if it's got 15 to 20,000 after all the acquisition, all the costs, all that, after we get through all that, that's an A lead. And the action that we want to take on that is we're buying it. We can. That's good. If it's 10 to 15,000, you may want to think again. In our case, our overhead's so high that we don't buy those. Unless it's something that fits within the parameters of something that we want to rent. So we leave a lot of money on the table. A lot of times we leave a lot of money on the table. And that's where a huge benefit might be to some long-term association with all of us together. 5 to 10,000 is a C lead. Folks is probably not getting anything except to maybe flip, maybe a rental, okay, may work specifically for somebody. And less than 5,000, we probably wouldn't want to do anything but list that property for sale. It's not anything that we'd be interested in buying. But you may, and the circumstances around a specific property, may encourage you to do it. And a lot of it is, how much down did I have to pay? Can I buy it subject to the mortgage? There's a lot of ifs about this. Is it going up in value? You see, David Shores, St. Augustine, Florida. They bought 5 houses over there 10 years ago. Today you'd be mega rich. They bought 10 houses over there 10 years ago. You'd be mega rich. When I started in the business, we wrote letters from Crescent Beach, Florida, asking for listings on oceanfront lots. Everything down there was for sale. You could buy an oceanfront lot that went all the way across from the ocean to the intercoastal waterway for $8,500. You could have bought every one you wanted. One $8,500 investment would make you a millionaire today. 10 of those would have made you $10 million. Now, what does real estate people say? Oh, I don't have the money. That's the first thing they say. I don't have the money. So I pick up the phone and I call and sell it to somebody that does have the money. Okay? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I made a commission and I spent that next week buying groceries and taking care of the family. And the money's gone, and the investor made all the money. Now what's wrong with that? A lot. There's our form that we use for grading our leads, which we're going to cover some more later. But if it's legally going to buy it, we don't want to, we could lease it with an option to buy it. We don't want to flip it, obviously. We want to buy it and see it all the way through. We may refinance it, or we may list it for sale if the sellers don't want to sell it. We're mortgage brokers and realtors, so there's all kind of ways for us to make money out of this lead that was generated for us. If it's a deed, we may buy it, like I say, we may lease it with an option to buy it. We definitely would flip it to a third-party investor. We may refinance it, make some money, or we may list it for sale. C, because we don't want to buy it, we don't want a lease option. We may flip it, we may refinance it, and we may list it. And the last one, D, is yes, we'll list it for sale. That's about it. What you have to do is put yourself in the information superhighway of prospecting this. Otherwise, you spend all your time prospecting, guys. Now, here's where the money is. You give me the prospects, and I'll go knock on the door. Cheyenne, you bring Dad the prospects, and I'll go buy some deals. Okay. Same way with you. You get the prospects, you go buy. Spend your time buying, because as soon as you buy, you got to fix it, you got to sell it, your job takes off. If you think you can spend your time equitably, economically at that courthouse, you are very, very wrong. That is very wrong. I can tell you now, that will not work for you. So, let me just say that what we have to offer is so fantastic that if you would develop it and use it and see yourself, you don't have to reinvent this wheel that we spent 38 years doing. How can the CMA save your financial backside? Go cheap. Let me think about the CMA. The most important thing I think about the CMA is not only what it's worth, but how long they stay on the market in that area. If you have a house and you anticipate your cost based over a 6-month hold, and you end up holding that for a year, your profit just went 5. Okay? Unless you got it rented out and you stop the cash flow negative, it's going down. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your pro forma is based on good study and good market information. That's why the CMA is so powerful. If you do that correctly, it'll cause you not to buy houses that you ordinarily would buy. Okay? Not based on that it ultimately sells. Well, we got 2 properties out to start right now. We know they'll ultimately sell. We've had them houses a year. We've had them over a year. Now, whatever profit was in those houses is going to be gone. When we start off with a profit this big, it's going to be down like this. You see? You don't want to do that. You don't want to type in investor capital. You don't want to do that. That's a bad mistake. And that's the power of the CMA. So you're still going to make mistakes, but you're getting the benefit of the powerful information to use it all so that you can make a study and do it correctly. Yeah, move against about property values. How to determine the current fair market value. Y'all know how to do it with your CMA. How to conduct a comparative market analysis. Y'all already know how to do that. How the power of your local monthly listings, that would make you rich. I had a guy tell me the other day, oh, I ain't doing that board of realtors because it cost me $1,000. I said, for what? I mean, why would you doing something that's going to give you millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of inventory available at your fingertips, information that you can't buy? You couldn't afford to buy 2 appraisals in a year. You would have paid more than it cost you to join the MLS. What a great system. I'm a big advocate of the system. I watched it grow. How do you use your knowledge of market value to buy your property right in the deal? Listen, you go out there, you got that information, you know exactly what the house is worth. When you go out there, the only thing that you like about knowing about what the house is worth is how much it's going to cost to fix it. You walk in the community right away, you start thinking about carpet and paint and all the things that you see. You're going to start to see things that you haven't seen. You walk in a house, you're going to see. All of a sudden, you're going to be able to estimate that cost. And just to start with, maybe it's going to cost $6. So if you think it's going to cost 6, you write down 8 or even 10. You take a very conservative approach to that, and if you save money, you'll make money. So, but you know that when you go there because of your CMA. Homestar's corporate point. This is it, guys. This is the difference between us and all the late night programs that say just get my book and read it and run out here and make some offers. You can make some money. You can make a lot more money if you have the intelligence and the information in your hand and you know what you're talking about. And that is no substitute for that, regardless. There is no substitute in what period.
So, bit of the powerful intel furnished as part of the Homestar market training system. We're going to show you how to get the information that you want. If you don't want to subscribe to the lead generation program that we have, it's okay. You can go down to the courthouse and do this yourself, which you'll understand how to do it and what to do. And that's part of what we're teaching. Ranking tiny profits, ROI, your way to the best deals. Oh, good. That is a real good one. We came up with our own ROI forms, return on investment forms. What that means is simple. If the numbers don't work, run as fast as you can. Okay? Do not fall in love with the Augustine house because you thought it was pretty and you liked it, but there was no practical approach for you to market that house. You run as fast as you can. Then come to the powerful intel. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Maximize the ROI, your return on investment. You know, we've already showed you got to leave. We want to buy one step, $20,000 or more profit in it, you know, and then we want to sit down and make sure that's right and do an ROI on this property we want to find out. That simple tool can reap you a handsome return. What is ROI? It's our form that we created that will show you the bottom line. My brother calls it the deal killer form. Okay? It'll kill your deals. It'll cause you to get the glamour out of your eyes and get down to the numbers. It'll make you focus on the reality of that deal. And that's what it's all about, because if you buy many bad ones, you won't be in the business long. You'll quit, become discouraged. Our Homestar's profit generator form can save your financial backside. That is a fact. When we finally got around to doing this and we came up with this form, it was the professional edge that we needed. It was the additional professional way to determine if this is something that we should be investing our money in or other investors' money in. Remove the guesswork about how much you profit will make. When you get out to the bottom line of this, and we're going to pass some of these around, and y'all will be able to go through this in a little while. ROI, your way to the best deals with the most profits. Now, when you get to going through this, I'll ask you a question. Why would you buy a CD? Why would you buy a CDO? Okay? A lot of CDOs been bought. I see at the courthouse, I see people paying more than the properties are worth down here at the courthouse. I don't understand why they do it, the way they do it, okay? But that's okay with me. But when we get through, and you go out quietly, and you find this, you get some leads, and you knock on some doors, and you write some letters, and all of a sudden you get somebody that responds to your inquiry, and now you have the power to analyze that deal and make a decision about whether you want to buy it or not, whether you as a real estate agent may want to list the property or not. There may be only 2 weeks left on the property, listing it may be a report. Let me give you an example of something. We've got a guy, this is incredible. My sister is a real estate agent with us, and she's working in the collective foreclosures, and she sends out this letter. The man's got 3 foreclosures, 2 on the same time. They're beautiful. One of the prettiest houses I've ever been in, right on the river, beautifully furnished. The other one's on out on West River Road, 200 feet on the river, 600 feet deep, with a 5,500 square foot building permit. He's in foreclosure on both houses. Then he has another house that's not on the water. He's in foreclosure on that house. He's in foreclosure on all 3 houses. He's about 80 years old. Yeah, I felt so sorry for him. So we looked at him. There's no strategy that would encourage us to buy him. So the only thing we could possibly do is list him for sale. In the meantime, one of them comes up for sale on the courthouse steps. So we send him up here to a bank in Jackson. The lawyer files him into Chapter 13 to stop the sale. But it's just a temporary thing. Meantime, we get a contract on one of the houses, but the 2 waterfronts are still for sale. But the leads, and here's my point, if we sold those houses, one of them's listed for $850,000. If we sold those houses, the commissions that we would earn as realtors is a whole reason to have that information and reason to be members of the board and the MLS and all those things. Now, if we sell those houses, it'll be because some other realtor helped us sell them, because we've exhausted all the customers we have for them, and now we're reaching out to, with advertising and everything. But anyway, it's just, we ROI'd it, didn't work. We're not buying it, okay? I would take a deed from the market, dig a deed from it. Don't want it, because they're not going to. What do we think about it 5 minutes after, or at least research here?
Thank you for joining us for our Distressed Properties training event, and we hope to see you next time here at Homestar Pacetti Realty Network.